Hope my voice is clear, loud and clear.
Yes, Suman.
Yes,
Thank you.
Suman. Sairam Amar sir.
Saram sir, Sridhar sir.
We'll start with Omkaram and Sai Gayatri. Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Sathya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Sathya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering my humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Bhagawan. I welcome you all for today's satsang. So it has been a gap of a month due to my Prashanti Seva, and after that I had to go to Shirdi also. So luckily the story today also coincides about both. Maybe Swami wanted me to narrate this story only after visiting both of them. Bhagavan said, in Kali Yuga, the easiest path and the safest path also is devotion. He says, because in other paths, he says, even in one of his songs, Satya Dharmamu Shanti Premalato, in that song, he even mentions, he even discourages not to go for Ashta Siddhi Sadhana. That will bind you with illusions, with unnecessary things. So don't go for such kind of tedious sadhanas or tedious methods. Better you adopt a name, whichever that appeals to you, and revel in the joy, taking that name, listening to the glory of the form, and develop devotion. Even if we take up Karma Marga or Jnana Marga, unless otherwise our hearts get dampened with the waters of devotion, they become it's more or like a mechanical. It becomes more a kind of a just a work. And a work with devotion, it becomes worship. Otherwise it just becomes a karma, otherwise nothing else. So unless otherwise it becomes more of a dry thing. But when it is dampened, our hearts are full of love and devotion, the entire experience becomes different, whatever path we may choose. So the undercurrent should always be devotion. That's why listening to the stories of devotees, even we have been prescribed Bhagavata, Ramayana, and all for resurrections, for redeeming our lives. No one prescribed, or no greater being has prescribed some Ashtasiddhi yogas and Ashtanga yogas for redeeming our lives. They have prescribed these books because devotion is the easiest path, is the most prescribed path for this yuga, because mind cannot focus on any other things. It is quite dilly-dally. It just runs one after the other. So focusing mind in this yuga is very tough. So we should only tame the mind with the name and slowly let it taste the fruits of devotion and enjoy in the devotion. Today's story is quite very interesting, I would say, or mesmerizing, or I can say different, I can use different adjectives, out of world. But I would say certain stories should be heard just leaving everything aside. Just like we leave chapel outside coming into the temple, we just leave everything, our logic, our intelligence, our so-called identity, whoever we are, just leave everything and just become a child and listen with awe and wonder. When we listen with awe and wonder and with just like the purity of a child, I think these kind of stories seep into us, and then actually the magic happens, the true transformation happens. Yes, we can draw inspiration from various instances in these stories. At times, yeah, if we develop even negative qualities like envy or anger, listening to these stories, that is also good. Because the negative qualities that we develop, let us envy this devotee. If we envy this devotee also, definitely that envy is going to redeem us, because that envy will turn into yearning someday. Why to be envied or feel jealous of about our boss in office or someone in neighbor? Better let us feel envy for Pandavas, let us feel envy for Gopikas. Definitely that kind of envy will resurrect us, that kind of envy will redeem us. So even we are developing those qualities while listening to stories of devotees is also good, because anything we are associating with the divine becomes divine. Just like the number 9, whatever you associate with 9, it becomes 9. 9 ones are 9, 9 twos are 18, it is 9, 9 threes 27, again it is 9. So whatever, that is because that's why 9 is divine number, no? So whatever you associate with the divine, whatever quality you associate with divine, whether it is negative or positive, it ultimately becomes divine. So let us leave everything aside and just listen the story just like a child with awe and wonder, and enjoy every bit of it. And let us see ourselves in the position of a devotee and enjoy each and every instance that will be described in a couple of minutes. So today's earlier we had stories about, I think the first story was about Dr. Sitaramaya, Sri Sitaramaya, who was son of Ram Ramam Garu. So Ramu, the story, if most of you remember the name of Ramu, it was described. After that, we had heard of Vinay Kapoor, who was the former state president of Punjab. The last story was about a unique story where Bhagawan had raised the entire village in Gujarat, where there was a heavy downpour or a rain of vibhuti somewhere in 60s in that village. And even I had shared some photographs of that village. I think Devada was the village name in Gujarat. So today's is the fourth story. It has wonderful dimensions. Uh, it is quite you can connect most of the times in many instances, and some are quite mesmerizing, out of world. So let us now start a journey with full of joy to get more and more bliss and more joy. So Dr. Krishna Kumar Rajpoot was born in 1935. He was born in Quetta, which is currently in Pakistan. So during partition time in 1947, their entire family moved to Delhi and settled there. He finished his schooling and graduation in Lucknow. In 1963, he started his career as a medical doctor, joining Indian Army. And in 1965, he got married to Srimati Kevala, and he was blessed with two children, two boys. The elder one was named Sanjay, and the younger Ajay. In 1969, his in-laws also stayed in Delhi in Rajendra Nagar, and he stayed. He's left his job in 1970 from the Indian Army, and he started his own clinic in Delhi, in the area of Janakpuri. And in Rajendra Nagar, his in-laws used to stay. And his in-laws were the first ones in his family to move or to visit Bhagwan. And when they visited, they presented him a photograph of Swami. And when he received the photograph, he didn't have any kind of connect or feeling, or it was just hung to the wall. He never regarded Bhagwan as God or a saint or a guru or a social worker or anything. He didn't form any opinion, either positive or negative. He was more nonchalant. He was more indifferent, unconcerned completely. Just it was hung. The picture was hung on the wall. But he was not an atheist. He had his experiences right from his childhood in the higher power. He believed in higher power because he had experiences where he was saved many times during his childhood, and especially during India-Pakistan war in 1965 when he was serving in Indian Army as a doctor. He even experienced a couple of times the presence of the supreme power. So he believed in it, but he never had any kind of feelings towards Bhagawan. But whenever Bhagawan visited Delhi, out of his little curiosity or maybe the persuasion of kith and kin, he visited. He used to go and have darshans of Bhagawan. And he used to listen a lot of things about, when Bhagawan comes, his presence can be felt when there would be a kind of intense fragrance comes. And wherever he steps, you can feel intense fragrance. You can even the soil where he steps on would smell with a lot of aroma. So these kind of things he heard and even started experimenting. He even took the soil where Bhagavan stepped that time, and it really smelled aromatic, full of fragrance. But that doesn't, that didn't make him to save that mud or whatever like that. Yes, he visited a couple of times whenever Bhagavan visited Delhi, but even then, that kind of equation with him was more or less the same. He was not feeling anything. Okay, fine. So 11 years passed this way. So in 1980, so he started, he purchased a flat near to the same clinic which he started in Janakpuri. And that happened to be, near to Shirdi Baba temple. So out of blue, one day with his family, he visited the temple. Our bhajans were going on, Sathya Sai bhajans were going on. It was a beautiful temple, peaceful atmosphere, very clean. And he started feeling, kind of liveliness in the idol of Baba. It was very lively, it was. So can an idol be so lively? This was the question. And somehow, the first time his heart is responding to something. So he was having some kind of inexplicable joy, I would say, due to maybe the peaceful atmosphere or bhajans or the liveliness in the idol, whatever, everything collectively created an indelible impression in his heart. And he started, and he took a firm decision that he would serve in the temple. So he started participating in the seva activities in the temple. He even started treating patients for free in the mornings, and from afternoon and evening he would go to clinic, and mornings he was doing service, a free treatment to the devotees. So that was going on. And there was a boy called Maniram in the premises of temple. So his job was to keep the temple clean. So he used to keep the temple, he was a caretaker, not caretaker, cleaner basically. So one day he comes to doctor and he says, "Doctor, whether you believe it or not, so last night I had a dream. Shirdi Baba came in my dream and told that your clinic looks quite untidy. It's full of dust, things are not in order, and it is quite, very full of dirt and dust." In fact, that came as a shocker to the doctor because, in fact, he wanted to renovate his clinic. He wanted to make some changes. That's why he removed all the staff. And he himself was, attending the patients in the clinic, and he was not showing much attention towards the cleanliness of the clinic. Maybe due to work pressure or personal lethargy, he was not concentrating on that. So there is a lot of truth in whatever this boy said. And this boy never came any time visited the clinic, nor he knows where his clinic is. So he had to believe, and one day, beating all the lethargy, he found one holiday, and along with his children, he went and cleaned everything in the clinic, put all the things in order, perfect. So the very next day, acknowledgements come very fast when you respond, when you actually follow Swami's teachings, the response from him also comes so fast. So next day, even same Maniram comes and says, so now it seems your clinic looks very beautiful, very neat. So whatever that little iota of doubt he had in his mind, that was also vanished. That also vanished with Maniram's words. So indeed, no, Baba is visiting my clinic. He's coming personally. Then he placed Shirdi Baba's photograph in his clinic. And one day he experienced a kind of sudden intense aroma of vibhuti all over his clinic. One day in afternoon, somewhere around 12 o'clock. And he remembered the words of devotees. No, you can feel presence of Bhagawan when there is a lot of aroma aside. And he immediately stood. He looked in all directions. He started doing namaskar and started, welcome, sir, welcome, sir. Just telling, you don't know from which direction Bhagawan comes. He could only feel he could only, smell that aroma. So, and coincidentally or coincidentally, at the same time, at his home, his wife also started experiencing certain strange, tinkling of anklets as if someone was moving towards puja room. She went and searched in the puja room whether to find someone. No. To her astonishment, no one was there. She searched every room, no one was there. And when the doctor was back home, both of them exchanged their experiences. And that's when they understood that both of them happened exactly at the same time. And meanwhile, this some group of devotees in temple planned Shirdi visit. And after this experience, even the doctor even made a firm resolve to visit Shirdi. So along with that group, he visited Shirdi. He had a wonderful darshan, beautiful bhajans, Nagar Sankirtan, Narayan Seva, everything. It was a completely eventful trip. They came back so blissfully. After coming back from Shirdi, one day when Ajay was in school, he was in a meditation class. So the guru asked to start meditation, silent sitting, all the students to meditate. So this boy, Ajay, closed his eyes and started meditating. Suddenly he started seeing Shirdi and he saw some white mansion. He went inside the mansion and he finds Baba sitting there. And he goes near to have namaskar of Baba, and Baba brushes him away, asks him to go away. He describes this, experience to his guru. The guru says, just keep it a secret. Don't reveal it to anyone. But somehow after going home, he would not be able to contain himself. He would not be able to even, describe to his parents, but out of persuasion of parents, finally he tells the truth. And this sort of, creates some kind of, anxious anxiety in parents also. So they would also not be able to decide what exactly to tell. So they would encourage him to sit in meditation once again. So probably whether it's true or not, maybe child would have, maybe because out of he had visited Shirdi recently, maybe out of his hallucination, he must be creating his own things. But they encouraged him to sit again, whether the same thing would come again. And even the doctor was now, he had all medicines also ready with him, so that if anything happens, untoward happens, he can do some treatment. And the boy opened his eyes with, quite depressed and quite sad. And they thought maybe he was not able to concentrate, he could not meditate. That was what. And then he says, no, everything was fine, I could concentrate. The same thing appeared. Like Baba was there in a white mansion. I went near to take his namaskar. He asked me to go away quite angrily. This time I didn't go away. I stood there firmly, and he even started, was about to beat me also, and he was chasing me, and that sort of perturbed me. So I came back. So why did Baba do so? I didn't do anything mischievous. I was about to do his namaskar only. No? So these were the questions that were coming from child's mind. So even the doctor couldn't understand how to pacify this child. He said something, don't, everything will be okay, don't worry. Somehow he pacified. And but again, no, this doctor's curiosity also didn't uh, lessen, and he started encouraging the child to sit in meditation again. So after a few days again, he was asked to meditate. So this time he had a good, a kind of blissful experience. His Bhagawan was in good mood. Baba was in good mood. So he was happy. And it like that, it encouraged this sort of experiences, encouraged Ajay to meditate daily. So it became a daily affair. Daily he was meditating. Daily he was able to see, Shirdi Baba. And daily, um, once in a while, even he was able to experience Shirdi Baba telling him something. He was not able to listen to his voice, but he was able to only, on the lip movements, he could witness. And this went for quite a few months. So once in a month, at least 3, 4 times, Baba would tell something, but he was not able to hear. So this continued. And one year, 1982, January, one night at 11 o'clock, this boy comes and wakes up his parents. Ajay comes and wakes up the doctor and his wife. Come, come, get up, get up. Baba has come. Baba has come to our place. He's sitting there. So everyone could only experience only that fragrance, the fragrance of vibhuti all over the house, but they were not able to see anything. Only Ajay could see Baba. And he was directing, he's so here, and he was directing the feet are here. So everyone was touching at that place. So they were so happy to listen to all the words of Ajay. So only kind of experience they were getting was the aroma of vibhuti. Other than that, nothing else. And Ajay was able to see just like he would see anyone else. And it has become a regular affair now. No, daily he's coming, he's spending some time. Baba is spending some time in the home. He was sitting, and even this gave a thought to doctor to arrange a separate chair to Baba. So seeking his permission through Ajay, they even arranged separate asan to Baba, and he was spending quite a lot of time now, some hours, 4 or 5 hours together, sitting in the chair, sitting in asan. So he even became the head of the family. They were consulting him for every small thing, just like he became a grandfather of the family for everything. For everything is being consulted. He's for everything he's being taking his advices. All these things are becoming very common now. And they even this doctor felt, no, old man, how long can he sit? So general thoughts come. Old man, he's 4 5 hours. How can he sit continuously? Let me arrange a bed for him. So a bed was also arranged, and some water has been kept. So it has become daily, and they even started doing Deeparadhana and every all other kind of puja kind of rituals they started doing. And they even named their house as Prashanti. And out of the curiosity, they even started requesting through everything is through Ajay. No one is able to see anything. All the things were going only through Ajay. Ajay was the only person who could see Baba. And all the conversations, all the exchange of words, everything was happening through Ajay only. So they asked Ajay, requested, everyone requested Ajay. Now we even named our house also Prashanti. They requested Shirdi Baba, why don't you bring Sathya Sai Baba also along with you? So out of a lot of prayers, he started bringing Sathya Sai Baba also to his home. So both of them are coming daily. So a separate bed was arranged for him also. Water has been kept. Everything is there. So everyone was full of joyful kind of. So one thing they've observed, one stipulated time daily, both of them went away somewhere. They were going out somewhere. So later they realized the mistake. They offered bed and welcome drink, but they didn't offer any food. They didn't offer any kind of naivedyam. They didn't ask him for lunch or anything. So lunchtime, these two people are going out. Maybe they're having somewhere outside in hotel or I don't know. So they both of them are going at the same time. So that's when they realized their mistake, and from then on, even they started preparing lunch for both of them. And they even, his wife, the doctor's wife, even started learning South Indian dishes, started cooking rice, because rice is not their staple food. They're Punjabi family. They relish rotis. So, but for Swami, for our Sathya Sai, because he's a South Indian, so they even started cooking rice. And morning they used to, as a kind of tiffin, they used to make some halwa. So lunch, dinner, everything started off. So everything was being offered, and this Ajay only, through Ajay only, they used to ask many things, and he used to describe each and everything in detail to all these members. And and both of the Babas, when they come, the fragrance of the house will be so much that even neighbors also started experiencing that now Babas have come, because even they could feel the fragrance. And he described that mannerisms of both the Babas would be different, though they are one and the same, because they have come in the two forms. Two forms have two different styles, whether it's a walking style or a sitting style, eating style, drinking style, all are different. So he says Shirdi Baba used to mix everything, whatever the items that you serve him, he would mix everything and he would eat. Or whether it is sweet, whether it is curry, whether it is pappu or whatever they give. So he used to mix everything and he used to eat. And he says, uh, Sathya Sai Baba's way of eating was quite interesting, quite amusing. Like he would make then rice, and he would mix this thing, and he would make balls. He would make like rice balls, and he would throw from certain distance, which would directly go and fall into the mouth. Not even a little meal would touch his lip, or it would stick to his lip, or it would fall down. It would directly go into mouth. I even heard, maybe it's style of Rajnikant. Rajnikant also started coming to Bhagawan from 80s. Maybe he taught him, I don't know. So it's jokes apart. So he had this style of eating. So everyone was like quite entertained to look at Bhagawan eating style. And while even drinking habits also, where Shirdi Baba used to pour uh, water in the right hand, from the left hand to the right hand, and he would drink from the hand itself, and not even one drop of water would fall on the ground. And whereas our Baba would always be in a more refined, urbane style, he would would not even touch his lips with glass. So just like our Tamilian coffee drinking style would be there, no. So that's how he used to drink water also. Very rarely he used to touch his, no, directly he used to drink water. Otherwise, he was very quite polished in his habits. So sometimes they used to, not both of them alone, they used to bring many Devidevatas. So a lot of many Devidevatas used to come. Many spiritual masters used to come. And once even Guru Nanak used to be very quite frequent along with these two most of the time. And his way of eating was also quite different. He used to hold roti with the right hand, and he used to pluck roti with his left hand and eat with left hand. So that was his style of eating. So like this kind of become quite a very regular effect, quite a very natural, which are quite out of blue or out of world experiences, become quite common in their uh, house. And one more thing is, whatever Baba, what Swami does, he exemplifies everything. He shows everything by example. So whenever Shirdi Baba used to sit, our Swami used to stand, just to show that we should show respect to elders. And whenever he used to sleep, he also used to sleep, and he would never sleep in such a way that his back always, any time faced Shirdi Baba. So his back never faced Shirdi Baba. So this how he taught each and everyone that how you should conduct in front of, um, how you should conduct yourself in front of elders and all that. So Bhagwan was exemplifying each and everything. And both of the Babas were showing different Leelas, different Mahimas, and entertaining those people daily. And only Ajay. All these things were, yeah, through Ajay only again. And slowly the curiosity is increasing. Please, why don't we also get that chance what Ajay got? So that was quite increasing. And one day they could see, all of them could see the footsteps when there was a heavy rain. So footsteps forming by as if they were coming into the house. So there was even once Swami asked Ajay to bring all the puja items and asked him to do the pada puja. So pada puja was also done, and a lot of aroma that emanated, and Ajay's hands were full of aroma of roses, and that aroma lasted for hours. Hours together it was lasted. And even that tirtham, the pada tirtham we say, so that was also smelling of this gold this thing. And sometimes that the water also used to turn into rose color and all that. And sometimes they used to find that because Bhagawan had that habit of chewing betel nuts, chewing the betel leaves. So he used to. So sometimes they used to find that whatever that little used to stick to the glass, stick to the tumbler whenever, as if he had drunk water. So that even they say, even in scriptures, they describe as Kamakshi has that habit of chewing beetle. And they even say these gurus who are Kanchi, Kamakoti, these gurus, in their meditative state, they would sit so close to her so that that kind of little, if something that touches them or it falls, that little saliva falls also, that is a kind of a great blessing. They even consider. Probably, if you can look into the documents of Kanchi's, this thing will find all those kind of truths. So that is the habit. So most of us would have, even old time devotees would know Bhagwan's, Bhagwan had that habit of chewing beetle leaves, and his eyes, his lips also used to be red. In some of the photographs also we can see today, some old photographs. Sometimes his lips would be so red, like as if he is, applied, or he has chewed pan very much, and it used to, even he used to take pan from many devotees also. Sometimes he used to go to some people, and some people even used to describe he used to take beetle from so people from working class, so probably we would never even touch them. So from them also sometimes Swami used to take pan and have. So his grace, his love is so much. So one day they saw Shirdi Baba coming blindfolded. One day he said, they asked, Ajay asked Swami, why did you come blindfolded? So he told that so and so devotee by name Krishna Arora, who comes daily to the temple, she had some ailment in the eyes, and the eyes were quite paining. So even she lost sight for some days. So I took her pain. So for a few days she would be blind, and I would also come blindfolded. So he told, this is the reason I'm coming blindfolded. One day, Sanjay, the elder kid, he did a lot of mischief that enraged the doctor. So he gave him a very severe punishment, beating. And that's what enraged our Swami, Sathya Sai Baba. The next day, he was very angry. He was not talking to anyone. And through Ajay, when it was asked, he said that the doctor should apologize me. And she promised me that he would never beat children anytime. So the doctor would obey the commands of Swami, and he promises him that he would never beat his children. So once in 1983, so Sanjay's cycle was stolen. So they also were told a kind of lie to their father. So they went to a shop. In spite of his warnings, in spite of their father's warnings, they went to a shop to play video games, and that was when they lost their bicycle. And they were now though they were full of worried, they were perturbed, and they started requesting Swami, somehow cajoling Swami, please, somehow you help us. So we would not. So Swami was very unhappy. He was Shirdi Baba, so he was not talking to them. So that made them cry. Both of them were crying. Ajay was crying and listening to that. Sanjay was crying and both of them were crying. But anyway, ultimately his mother, he cannot see his children cry for a long time. So later he started smiling and started speaking, and slowly that sort of mustard, no, like that sort of gave courage to children and asked him, please, Swami, please save us from this peril. We would never mistake. So he would, so Bhagavan would take word that you would never lie to your parents. So you should reveal everything to your parents. So like that, he used to put everyone thing in a place. He was playful, and in the playfulness only he was teaching many things. So, so now let us go. Let all three of us go to search bicycle. So they all took the bicycle of the neighbor boy and they started going. So this, I should also sit. Only you two cannot sit. I cannot walk. So I will also sit. Okay. So they said, and he was sitting behind. Baba was sitting behind, and Ajay was not able to ride even an inch. Baba, you're so heavy. Entire the Akhilanda Kodi Brahmana Naika, he is, the entire thing is sitting behind a cycle, a small cycle. How can a child ride? So, Swami, please, Baba, please get down. We cannot, I cannot ride the bicycle if you're sitting. You're so heavy, quite heavy. He said, okay. Bhagavan said, okay. And he got down, and Baba was walking next to them, and they were riding. So it went on. So he was just like gliding in the air, like floating in the air, and they were riding in the bicycle. How much ever how much ever they tried, they never could surpass Baba. So he was always ahead. So this is just like that Yashoda's and Krishna's miracle. How much ever long rope she could take, she would always miss that little, no, 2 inches or something. So the same way, they also missed. That's how we would, unless otherwise we surrender to God, we can never win over God. The only way to win, to win God is to surrender to Him. Only way. Otherwise, there's no other way. If we are trying to win Him through our ego or through other things, we will always miss. So He will grace only if He wills, and only if we surrender to Him completely. So here also He is enlightening us through this entertaining incident. So then Baba takes them to the place where he says that, yeah, you go and ask the shopkeeper, he would tell. So the shopkeeper would tell that the cycle has been taken to the nearest police station. And later, somehow, the cycle comes back in 3 days. So that's how Baba saves these two children from the wrath of their father. So that year, Sanjay no, joined a tuition, and he started going to tuition classes. And it was, the mandir would fall on the way, and he would visit mandir quite early, like he would leave quite early, like half an hour, and he would visit mandir, he would clean the premises, and while coming back also he would go again to mandir and do some kind of prayer, or he would meditate, something like that. So he was out of his own, or voluntarily he was doing all these things. No one asked him to do. He felt so, and he was doing so. 2 months diligently he did this. One day when he was coming, motorcycle had hit his bicycle. He was quite thrown away for 7-8 feet, and he just fell on the ground motionless. And everyone who witnessed that thought that he was no more, but luckily nothing happened to him. He was brought home safe. Somehow the pain at the heart area persisted. And that's when through Ajay, when he asked Bhagawan, when Bhagawan said, see, today actually the day of his departure, it should have been the day of his death. But for 2 months, he diligently served me. Selflessly, he served with pure heart. So I saved him. I have extended his life. Swami said. Swami, many times he said, seva cheste, save chestanu. He told many times, no, when you do my seva, I'll save you. So many times you must be doing. Many times we may not be, realize. We may not realize it. So whenever we are in that work, we don't realize how many times he would have saved us. So he proved this in many devotees' lives. How if we do his work, if we do his seva, how he saves the devotees. So now Sanjay's, the purity of heart, and he was like bubbly, he was a jovial guy, the mischief, the pure heart attracted. That's what the purity attracts. Purity alone attracts divinity. That's why always Swami insisted on purity. So once we are pure at heart, like a child, that automatically brings or draws divinity towards us. So that was now Sanjay also was getting the similar experiences like Ajay. Just by closing his eyes, he was able to see everything that's happening around. He was able to see Shirdi Baba, able to see Swami, everyone. Whatever that Ajay could see opening his eyes, Sanjay could see closing his eyes. So everything perfect, like he was watching. And everyone, for that matter, we are children of God. And when we have this kind of awareness, as Swami says, this constant integrated awareness, when we believe that we belong to Him, He is with us always. He's always with us. That's when we actually tend to experience His presence. Till then, if we are attracted to these worldly things and completely, getting drowned in these things, probably we miss that. So we need to develop this constant integrated awareness always to experience our own divinity, the divinity which is very much within us. So in 1984, so doctor even decided that now it has time has come to join or admit Sanjay into school at Parthi, the higher secondary school, maybe for 11th standard. And the next year, the following year, he even thought that Ajay also should be joined. And he was quite hesitant, or he was quite, because he was not aware of the things there, aware of the proceedings or the rules, whatever rules and regulations at Parthi. So he was not even quite confident whether they would get admission there. And he even sought permission of Swami, should we proceed, whether they would get admission there, is it possible? So they sought Bhagwan's approval. So Bhagwan gave complete 100% approval. Yes, you can go ahead. So that's how they mustered courage and they went to Parthi. There, and slowly, these, both of the husband and wife, both doctor and his wife, kind of started. Uh, Now, slowly, children are his, so he is slowly taking into his fold. So we need to prepare ourselves to live or to stay without children. So they started making up their minds, preparing their minds to stay away from children. And even it kind of, if even Ajay also goes, he even started, who will be taking care of Bhagwan? If Sanjay goes, Ajay goes, only both of them could see. I cannot see. So these are the questions erupting in his mind. So uh, how can I listen to Swami's voice? How can I see him? If he gives any instructions, how do I know? All these questions are erupting in his mind. And slowly those questions became a kind of yearning in him. So he was kind of full of now kind of sobbing and yearning for Swami. Swami, how can I serve you? I want to serve you intensely. I want to serve you heartfully, but my children would be leaving soon. How to? That's what Sujnana Marga Darsakaya Namaha, Swami we say. He will show the way. When we have that yearning, when you have the sincere yearning, obviously he would defy all the laws. He would defy everything and come. So that was when actually even the doctor now is able to see Swami. When he is able to, when he closed his eyes, he was able to see Bhagwan. He was able to talk to Bhagwan within. And Bhagwan said, now you need not depend on your children. You can directly see me. And now seeking his permission, taking Sanjay, he went to Parthi. And that was his first visit to Parthi. Till then, he never went to Parthi. And there, he was not aware of, the kind of proceedings and all those things there. And it seemed quite different atmosphere to him. Even he was thinking whether Swami, who is so close to us at home, how would he behave? He would behave as if we are known to him. And a lot of things are, kind of erupting in his mind. And finally, he, kind of asked Bhagwan, within only, he started asking Bhagwan, Swami, I don't want much time of yours. I just want 3 to 4 minutes of yours. And I have a couple of questions. any, ring, chains, that stuff. So please, no materializations, please. And I have a couple of questions. The very first question is, I'm always filled with a kind of worry, anxiety. So kindly assure me that you're always with me. That's my first question. Second, so what is all happening in my home, Prashanti? Is it true? Are you both? No, are you at the same time? You are in Prashant Nilayam and at my home Prashanti at the same time, simultaneously you are here, or is it my illusion, or it is illusion of my children? So still he wants that proof. So that's the second thing. And third, he says, I'm able to serve you to the best of my ability. Please give me more bhakti. No, I don't think I'm able to. I'm serving you better. I want to serve you much better. So please give me more bhakti. The last he asks is, because that time only general hospital was there. So as a doctor, I want to serve in your hospital. So please grant me the permission to serve in your hospital. So these were the four things he wanted to ask Bhagwan and seek his permission for that. Other than that, he never wanted to ask anything else. And just like as Bhagwan, no, as he said, Bhagwan called him for interview. And he just, as he asked, only 3-4 minutes. That's it. He didn't grant much. And just as he touched his, he was taking him to the room. The very first thing, he just patted his back and, he told the first thing, why are you worried? I'm always with you. Don't worry. So the first question is answered. The second he answered, the doctor somehow mustered courage. Just he uttered a word, Prashanti. Yeah. I'm there at both the places simultaneously. In your house, Prashanti and Prashanti Nilayam also. So there's second doubt is also cleared. Third, before he told Bhakti, is that, yeah, I'll give you a lot of Bhakti. You will serve with lot. And the last question Swami answered, no, it is not the time to serve in my hospital now. When the time comes, I'll let you know. So now it's okay. You, for time being, you just keep it aside. I'll tell you when you should come and serve. So all the four, whatever the doubts that doctor had in his mind, uh, were fulfilled. I mean, Bhagwan has clarified all the doubts. Everything was now it's fine. So interview, everything went well. So he even admitted Sanjay there, and he came back. So now all the doubts, everything got annihilated. So from then on, he was able to see it is whenever he used to close his eyes, he used to see a lot of even Devidevatas also, and he could see just by closing his eyes, he could see what's happening around him. Bhagwan would bring Devi Devatas, and every Devi Devata was blessing the doctor. And whatever the prasadam that was being prepared, everyone were relishing on that prasadam. And all of them were having some meetings also. And they were so curious, just like children, just like they jump for this thing, and they were so curious having the prasadam in their home. So they were having prasadam. And also, he even tells that Vaishnavi Mata, Vaishno Devi. So she would come on a lion. So the lion used to look at the doctor with lots of love, with so much of love, and it used to even lick his cheeks. It's so much of love. Somehow he used to distance himself because how can a lion? But however it is, it used to follow the doctor and it used to lick his cheeks and go. That's how whenever Mata came. So like that, these kind of things were being experiences, and even he could literally feel that the breath of the lion, that hotness of the breath of the lion also. And all those incidents which earlier he was just listening to Ajay, now he's able to see everything. No, eating, drinking, and all that styles and all. Even he used to say that Shirdi Sai was more a man who used to stick to home for a lot of time. He would most of the time he was at home, whereas Parthi Baba used to go. He used to visit after morning aarti. He would go somewhere. He would come again, and again the evening after aarti he would go somewhere, and after 2-3 hours he would come again. So he had some other affairs also. So he was going, and whereas Shirdi Baba was more of a family man, he was at home only. So and yeah, it always, just like they would say, Shirdi Baba is more like approachable, just like he is like grandfatherly kind of gestures he would give. So they would used to approach him with more of closeness, and they never used to hesitate. Whereas with Swami, they used to have kind of little that kind of a fear with respect. They used to, of course, Bhagwan also used to crack jokes, and he used to have, keep everyone jovial. But still, they used to have that kind of, equation with Swami was like, they used to have that little. They never used to take that liberty. Whereas with Shirdi Baba, they used to take all kind of liberties. They would go, they would even deny something sometimes if at all he says. So that kind of liberties also they started taking, because his way of, the things are different, and his things are quite different. So like that, these things were going on every day. But both the Babas are full of love. There's nothing to say. Everyone has their own, because every avatar has its own glory, and every charm. So whatever name you take, ultimately everything has its own charm. Finally, so like this, no, the days were passing. So what happened is like normally, so daily it has happened. It has become a daily affair to cook sumptuous meal twice. You need to cook sweets daily and all. And even doctor's wife was struggling to learn the south dishes and all that it's happening. So one day, because Swami knows the bottom of the whatever that is going on in her heart, so he finds, I think you're not able to, you're struggling with South Indian dishes. Better I'll become Punjabi. Don't worry. So you cook whatever you cook comfortably. I'll have your meal. So don't for me you need not struggle. For me you need not take trouble. So that was when no, it was discussed, and finally it is accepted. So he would say that sometimes, whenever they used to put naivedyam, whatever, nothing used to, whatever the quantity that is kept would be exactly the same. It would not move anything. But lot of Devidevatas also used to have, Swami used to have, many people used to have. And that particular prasadam, whatever, it tasted differently. It used to stay deliciously differently, and that's how the quantity of naivedyam also increased, because it was tasting quite differently. So they started preparing more, and this sort of burdening the housewife, burdening everyone. And finally, Bhagwan, yeah, he knows that this is burdening everyone. So one day he clearly told, from now on, no more food. So only I'll tell if I want, I'll myself ask, but no more serving of lunch, because it is burdening everyone. So from today onwards, it's banned. Like Swami clearly told, today onwards, it's because it's not right on my part to give you trouble. That much Swami, things that was Swami, he knows our bottom of hearts. And sometimes what happened is, because Swami was always at home, both Babas were always at home, this Rajput was not leaving. Whether he wanted to go out or visit a relative's home or a friend's home or something like that, he was quite hesitant to take even seek permission of Swami, whether I can leave or something. So one day, even Swami, even by himself, said, today I'm going to Rajendra Nagar, you also can leave. So Rajendra Nagar, his in-laws stayed, and even his sister also stayed there. So that was when Swami even gave them permission to even go out. They even started going out also. Basically, being Punjabis, they were non-vegetarians. They were not vegetarians. So at times, yeah, once after Baba started coming their home, so they only cooked vegetarian food. But somehow, once in a while, because it's not easy to relinquish the habit easily, so at times their minds used to go towards non-veg. They used to think, they used to get the thoughts of food, because it's their habit. So one day even thought, yes, you always, all of you are thinking about non-veg. So as of now, yeah, don't cook at home. You can go and have from outside. So suddenly that sort of no made everyone anxious. Swami, why don't you just get us relieved about this habit? Get us relieved of this habit. We don't want this habit anymore. Swami said, "No, don't worry. Everything doesn't happen in one shot. It takes time. So gradually it will be taken care. So slowly, gradually, eventually they could give up that habit. All the family members could give up that habit. But till then, Bhagavan accepted it. Even he himself asked them, you go and have outside. So here also, we can see how accommodating Bhagavan is, how understanding he is. Sometimes most of our family members are not so understanding. So they want immediate results, instant results. If everything they want some change in us, they want immediate. Otherwise, the consequences would be different. But whereas Swami is so understanding, he gives us time. He says, I'm my way is not force. It's only love. He would never force us to change. Even gradually, even if you look at his life of our doctor also, first 11 years, he never had any kind of feelings towards Swami. So later, then it started up. So everyone has their own time. So Bhagavan gives the time. He would never force upon himself. He would never force his opinions or anything. Even in many times, many devotees used to say, even many office bearers used to say that Swami, Swami always used to say, "This is my opinion. What would you say?" He would never say that this is my decision, just you have to follow. He would never say. He never said that. This is my opinion. What to other fellow trustees or members of the central trust or so in meetings also, Swami always would say, "This is my opinion." So that's how he was. So he teaches in every single gesture of his, in every single act of his. Now, not only about the things at home, Bhagavan even started showing them kind of things which are happening around in the world. And even in meditative state, doctor was able to see if kind of catastrophes that would happen in future, or maybe in the coming days, tornadoes, cyclones, earthquakes, or any great mass killings or some that kind of thing. And every time, and these kind of things were about to happen, or these things happened, both Babas used to sob. They used to, their eyes were always filled with tears when these kind of things happen. Bhagavan said many times, you have to undergo karma, but when you undergo karma, do you think I'm happy to look, seeing that? I also, when you're joyful, I'm also joyful. When you're at pain, I'm also at pain. So he's with us. And he never said that, I'll immediately relieve you from your pain. I'm there with you in the pain. That's what actually it's required. He gives us strength. I'm sharing your pain. I'm there with your pain. Let us together bear it. Let us together pass the situation. Let us together journey. That's how Swami gives the strength to a devotee. He would never say immediately I'll take it off and all. He gives us his way of his. I'm there with you. I'm myself sharing with you. I'm the co-traveler with you. So that's how he says, and that's how they used to, both of them used to sob whenever such kind of things used to happen. So once Swami showed in the, to doctor and even to Sanjay in the meditative state, that there was a kind of commotion in Delhi. A lot of these goons were looting the shops. They were even firing. They were even burning. All the things were going on. And they even saw some angels coming to Swami, and Swami was sending these. They were in white clothes. These angels were in white clothes, and Swami was sending these angels to Rajput's house and some other devotees, Sai devotees' houses. Swami was employing these angels. You just protect these. And even Swami was writing some kind of marks on doors of Sai devotees. So that's how he protected his devotees. He said, "Yeah, let what may come. Yeah, unrest will happen, but I'll save my devotees at any cost." So these were the things which they saw, and later, after a few days, it followed. There was a great commotion. There was a kind of clashes in Delhi, and everywhere, all these people were looting. They were burning. They were even pelting the stones. A lot of things were going on, even in his area, all over. So one day, doctor even forgets, put the shutter of his clinic. He would just close the glass door and comes. And it was quite, time of tension. Somehow he would come back home, and he had no time to go back, and he was just praying, Swami, because he just closed only that glass door. He couldn't shut down that iron shutter. Somehow, that exactly at the same time, he finds that all the shops near his clinic were burned, some were looted, but nothing happened to his clinic, not even a scratch to his clinic. Everything was intact. So after a few days, he would go and he would, get the money, whatever that was there in the clinic, and he would properly put the shutter and would come back. So this tension would last for some days, and Bhagavan took care that time during this kind of tension. So that was when he praised Swami, and he never asked for any kind of, the beauty of this doctor. It's all this he could win his grace is only by bhakti. He never did any other greater sadhana. It's by bhakti and his conduct. He lived his dharmic way of life and never asked for anything more. He was just getting his income was only the clinic, nothing more. And he was just praying, Swami, I'm just living on this clinic. I don't have any other sources of income. So please save me the clinic. So he never asked also. No, both the Kalpavruksha's are coming daily to his home. They are there at his home always at his, no, whatever he could ask, they can shower. But he never asked anything. So his level of income and all things was more or less the same. He was more, he was increasing. He was increasing his bank balance in spiritual accounts. In his spiritual bank, the accounts, now he's increasing. But material accounts were like that only. Maybe because of he had that attitude, both of them came to his home. We don't know. So after a few days, he developed a kind of fever, so which was 104, 105. It was quite unbearable. It was torturing. He was kind of tossing and turning in pain, and he was not able to. He tried to somehow bear the pain, but at one point of time it came to a saturation. He was not able to bear the pain, so he started screaming. It was quite unbearable. Then our Swami came, Sathya Sai Baba. His ways are like always, no, he'll be cool. Please don't try to bear this. If you bear this in this Janma, next Janma you need not bear. Otherwise, it would be much more difficult in next Janma. Somehow you bear it. So somehow doctor accepted it. At least he asked Swami, please give me strength to bear it. And Swami left. And again at night, it was quite intense. The pain was quite intense, quite unbearable. And he was quite, he was screaming aloud. Suddenly he felt as if someone was caressing his feet, someone was caressing his back, caressing his head and all. But he was not able to open his eyes because he was so weak. Later he felt a kind of comfort and he slept. Again in the morning, 5 o'clock, when he opened his eyes, he found the same kind of caressing, same comfort. And then he looked. Sathya Sai Baba was pressing his feet, he was pressing his back, and he was caressing him also. So he started sobbing. Swami, you are doing, I am giving you a lot of trouble to you. Who is he? No, Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka. In one this thing, he created the entire cosmos. He is serving. He is pressing his feet. Even this kind of gestures Bhagavan did physically also. Even the life of, if you see, Ghantasala was a yesteryear background singer. I think Telugu, Tamil, he used to sing the South films. So he was a great devotee of Swami. He even sang songs in Swami also. So Swami once came right when he was resting in one of the rooms. I don't know whether he reads Prashanti or Saut Prashanti. He was there in one of the rooms. So he had one attendant. So he was actually caressing his feet. So one evening, suddenly Bhagwan comes into his room. That time he was sleeping. The singer Ghantasala was sleeping, but Bhagwan asked the other person to leave and he presses the feet. So that's the love of a mother. So here also he did the same to the doctor, and the doctor was sobbing, why Swami and all. Swami says, why you are worried? Why you are actually, it's I love it. When I do these things, when I serve my devotees like this, I actually take a lot of delight. It gives a lot of ananda to me. So don't worry. And he even called his wife and confirmed whether she came, otherwise, and finally it was only Swami who did even night and the morning every time. So this followed the following night also, the same unbearable pain came, was not able to take it anymore. This time Shirdi Baba came. And Shirdi Baba, as we know, his ways are different like our Swami. So he complained, a sort of doctor, because of his unbearable pain, he sort of complained. Shirdi Baba, see, Sathya Sai, wants me to bear this pain. I'm not able to bear this pain at all. It's quite intense. It's quite beyond my capacity. I cannot bear anymore. Please do something. So Shirdi Baba, that's what beauty. That's why his fan following is more of youth, because his thing is first he'll grant the desire and then he will look after. Our Swami will see many things, whether you right now is eligible or not. See, he is thinking about the next Janma also. Even now, if you bear this, next Janma will be fine. So he's quite futuristic, quite long time vision he has. Whereas Shirdi Baba, first he'll give us our whatever we want, and then he'll look after other things. So he said, okay, now you just sleep, you turn around. He says, you turn around. So he turns around and he takes his satka and he just taps at three places on his back. And suddenly the next morning, no, everything is gone. It's completely, almost he was fine. And there were no traces that of he had this much of suffering. That much, to that level, he was cured. So it was like two different ways of gracing a devotee. This is one way of gracing a devotee, teaching him that forbearance, teaching him the things. Other one, he sometimes out of his compassion, he would immediately take. Both are his ways. He's up to his unique ways of gracing the devotees. For sometimes, yeah, he will make us tolerate the pain so that we learn and tolerate things. Sometimes he will immediately annihilate the pain. It's all depending on the devotees' capacity, devotees' tolerance levels, and all that. So in 1985, so both of them, the children even wrote a letter to the parents that the 60th birthday of Swami. So all the celebrations, all the preparations for celebrations are in full swing. So please attend. So Bhagavan, as he was telling some future events also, has already told that the mother of his wife, Kevala's wife, mother-in-law of doctor, would merge in Swami in so and so date. He gave 23rd October 1985. She is going to merge in him. So because of that reason, they were reluctant to go anywhere. They wanted to stay at home only so that anytime anything can be heard. But that's when children also say, we have already prayed Swami. We said, Swami, please give extension to her life. So Swami said, okay, I'm extending her life to 1 year. So exactly the same date next year, she would merge. So then the children said, you don't worry, she is not going to merge now. She's going to merge 1 year later. Bhagwan had promised. So she was well, quite enough. So they left for Parthi. They enjoyed the celebrations. And they even came back. Even after coming back, she was quite well. But her brother, brother-in-law of doctor developed some kind of ailment. He had to undergo certain things. But still, finally, Bhagwan saved him. So this sort of happened, went on for 1 year. Finally, the day of her departure had come. So the days were near. So doctor's wife, she prayed, Swami, Swami, whatever my mother has seen her life well. She had no more, kind of desire to stay longer. She is very much satisfied with her life. Uh, I will not be able to see my mother, dying like that. So just grant me desire that she'll have a smooth departure. And also, I should, no, please let me not be there at the time, and let my brother be there. So Swami has nicely fulfilled all the conditions, all the terms and conditions she placed before him. So she was not there at the time physically. Her brother was there, hale and hearty, though he suffered a lot before. So by the time exactly when this had to happen, he was hale and hearty, and she left the body peacefully in deep sleep. So what a great blessing. No? Swami fulfilled all the conditions. Without her journey was very smooth. Her exit was also, departure was also very smooth. Finally, she merged in Swami in a very graceful and peaceful manner. And all the other conditions also fulfilled. No? Both the conditions, other two conditions are also fulfilled. So like that, Bhagwan's ways are like, whatever that we say, he would, when we have that intense love for him, he follows. Instead of, as Swami says, no, when you have that love for me, that one pointed devotion towards me, I would need to take your permission. You need not take my permission. Just like he did in case of Sai Gita. No, he used to take his permission whenever he went somewhere. Just like, no, when we develop that love, our one pointed devotion towards him, he would seek our permission. We need not take his permission. So now this doctor is able to concentrate more on, in his sadhana, in his meditation and all. And now he's no longer interested in asking any sort of worldly questions. He's asking all the esoteric questions, very high standard questions, sadhana related questions, and jnana related questions. So that was going on and on. And even he had the bliss of Vishwarupa Darshan of Swami. and many Devi Devatas he was able to see. And sometimes even Swami granted him, a kind of VIP pass to go to Parthi. In his meditative state, he can go any time to Parthi. So he was somewhat traveling in astral plane. He was going to Parthi. He was able to see all other Devi Devatas. So when we sit in Kulwant Hall, we don't see anyone else. It seems many Devi Devatas come that time, have Bhagawan's darshan. Only these kind of beings. Even once, I think this similar experience was granted to Professor Bhagya, to Swami. He was able to feel this. He was able to witness this for some days. And later he sort of developed, no, I just want to give up everything. And he even wrote a resignation letter to give it to Swami. And Swami, I don't want no more worldly now. I just want to be completely spiritual. And Swami, kind of chides him. What do you think? To separate world and spiritual, the worldly and spiritual, you're bifurcating these two like this, then I'll not give you what you want even after 1,000 janmas. So don't bifurcate. So whatever the role he has given us in this world, it is his will. So we have to fulfill it perfectly. We should not bifurcate that this is spiritual, this is worldly. Even our duty, whatever that we are supposed to do, even whether it is a personal duty or a professional duty or even as a seva or whatever, that is his will and we have to give it our 100%. And we should not see it separately as if it is worldly thing. It is completely a spiritual thing. Swami said, don't separate like that. So this is his will again. So we should never, because we are getting these kind of experiences, we should never see that. As Swami says, no, we should be in the world, but we should not get attached to the world. But whatever the role, whatever the duties that he has assigned us in this world, we have to fulfill them perfectly. So that's why he says duty is God. So a duty has to be given first prime importance, paramount importance has to be given to that. So he got this pass. He was going through astral plane. He was seeing a lot of things, and every time anytime he can go now. Parthi is not just any person. He has to book tickets or flight tickets. Nothing. He can go anytime. He close his eyes in meditative state. He's directly going into the Swami's room. He is able to converse with Swami. He's able to see other Devi Devatas coming, and many more things. And sometimes he used to feel he was able to see many known people in the crowd and he was not able to see because he was not able to talk to them because they were not able to see him. He was able to see them but they were not able to see him. So he was a kind of that a kind of disappointment. Oh, my friends are there in the crowd and I am not able to talk to them. So there was a family friend to them, Veena Verma. So once when Sanjay came during holidays, again he did some mischief. So he again received a lot of punishment, beating from his father. This sort of enraged Swami again, and he through that family friend who was there. So Swami asked the doctor, asked Dr. Rajpoot today to meet me in Parthi at 4 o'clock in the astral plane. So 4 o'clock he sat in meditation through astral plane. He reached Parthi at 4 o'clock. So Swami twitched when as soon as he reached and he was sitting in the portico. Swami twitched his ear and he just pulled him inside and took him inside the interview room. And he chided him like anything. He was quite intense, like quite ferocious, like Narasimha. He was like, doctor was trembling in fear. Sai Mata, please, please, please. Why did you beat? I asked you. You promised me that you would never beat children. Why did you beat? So I would never do this again. So he took, he pacified Swami that he would never repeat this again. And finally, he took his Padnamaskar. And once when he was doing this Padnamaskar, that was happened. And after that, many times he used to go like that. And once he was doing Padnamaskar, suddenly Hanuman came. He could see Hanuman. And seeing his Hanuman, he was full of devotion right in front of you. He was able to see Hanuman. And he even started touching his feet. Then Hanuman stopped him. No, no, no. Said no. Do you think what avatar is this? This is not an ordinary avatar. You cannot even imagine, you cannot even gauze or assess the magnanimity of this avatar, this Sai avatar. So to this avatar, you are coming whenever you want. No, in astral planes, just like I come, I can also come whenever I want. So you also have that ability. So there is no difference between both of us. So you need not touch my feet. We both are one and the same. So you getting this kind of grace, that too from this avatar, is not an ordinary thing. We both are same. That's why he stopped. He never let him. No? But please, you are an exemplary devotee. Please grant me more devotion so that I can serve. He was asking, the doctor was asking, so how can I call you? How can I regard you? He says, you can call me as Sai Ram Sevak or Sai Sevak. And just say Sai Ram, that's enough. So these are the words of Hanuman. Just like, as the neighbor's words or some other devotee's words he's telling, these are words of Lord Hanuman with doctor. So like that, this sort of went on, and finally he went once, and Swami was quite unhappy with him for some reason, and he didn't leave. He asked him to leave, just leave from my sight. He said he just held his feet. He cried, Swami, I don't want to leave you till my last breath. I want to come like this and just use my head like a doormat, wipe your feet with my hair, and please purify my head so that I can serve you and your devotees forever with humility, so that I should have only pure thoughts in my mind, and I can have a wonderful life like this, serving you and your devotees. That's what I want in my life. So Swami granted him. So this is how we can, I think, see various facets of Bhagavan, or we can actually know the meaning of various, like Sulabha Prasannaya Namaha, how he was so happy with children. Sugnana Marga Darsakaya Namaha, when we had that intense yearning, he showed the way. Bhakta Paradhinaya Namaha, he was following his terms and conditions of devotees. He was accepting everything, and he is Bhakta Paradhina. He is bound by his devotees. So these are all things we'll understand only when we listen to such kind of stories. We hear, we see kind of the satsangs from many devotees. And I think it leaves us in a complete, kind of situation of awe and wonder, that what all that we have traveled now in this couple of past 1.5 hours. How a devotee, it's all through devotion. That's what we need to see. A fellow devotee has achieved it. It's not any great yogi has achieved it, or someone who has done a very rigorous penance has achieved it. Is achieved by a devotee through his dharmic life and through purity of heart. This sorts of inspires us that we should also grow in bhakti day by day, so that we can win his grace, so that he can also grace us in his own way and redeem our lives forever. So with this, I close my today's talk, and I'll open this for the session for your opinions or insights that you have gained from this story. Sairam. Sairam, Narasimhan sir, I think probably we can start with you. You're the first participant today. So your experience while listening to this story, or anything you could relate to, or any insights that you gained.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Very nice. I mean, a lot of things you said. I really was moved when you said that Ghantasala, he pressed the foot of Ghantasala Swami. I mean, just what we all think, Seva ke liye, what he does, that I really liked. And also, I think that's the even for the father, no, the Ajay and Sanjay are the people who actually came and bought that bhakti. If you think of it, even though the father was thinking, sometimes what happens, through our children itself, we I mean, generally we think what will happen to the next generation, will they be good and all that thing, no? But actually, Swami catches the young generation first.
Yeah.
Okay, in some ways, correct. And then, I mean, a good example is our own Sai Gitanjali. If you see, how many people, very young people, who do great work. Okay, and then other people become young when you see them, right? And some of us start at 50 years and start doing work. Some people do it when they were students itself, Swami students. So they have a 20, 30 year seniority over you in terms of work, correct?
Yes.
And the more I interact with students and I see, you know, some of these students are just like they're able to do that, you know, much earlier. So in that Ajay and Sanjay, all those things I was just thinking, you know, how in that small house, he came through, Swami came through them mainly, correct? And communicated through them,
Yes.
even to their parents. Okay. Just amazing. Thank you. Very nice session. I really enjoyed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sridhar, sir?
Like a child, Sairam, like a child listening to fairy tales and stories. I was in that frame of mind. I'm just trying to absorb the entire story. Particularly, your narrative is so good. Yes, it is a fantastic illustration of Bhakti Marga. And if it is pure, you reach the same distance as the doctor and his family did. Very inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Satish, sir, anything you would like to say?
Saram sir,
Sir,
thank you so much for a very nice and very inspiring talk. Some of the things what you told, what Swami said, do seva to get saved, that really touched me. The things like just surrender, then grace follows. Then whether it is our worldly duty or spiritual duty, that should be, we should give our 100%.
correct.
So all these things, and then especially the love towards students, Swami's love towards students, it's very much intense. So all these things. So very nice topic and very inspiring. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the very nice talk. Thank you, Saram sir. Saram sir.
Sir.
More than once in the narration, you pointed out that Swami was unhappy when the parent were reprimanding the child with beating and all that.
Yes.
It's a very strong message. Actually, the learning what I take away is we are merely trustees. The children belong to him.
Yes.
And we are merely trustees to guide them and not anything more, and accept whatever evolves around. The love of Swami for the children, we must always remember as parents that we stay in our bounds.
Nice, sir. Any more thoughts or insights? Amarnath, sir, are you still on the call? Any more thoughts before closing the session?
You had said that they had very good bank balance, spiritual bank balance, to
Yes.
have been endowed with these kind of very deep intrinsic experiences.
Yes.
Because not many can get these kind of experiences to the extent you tend to believe whether they are hallucinating or what.
And it has been Swami approved also physically, because most of the time, unless otherwise, physical approvals we don't even believe ourselves. So Swami approved it
We
physically.
can only doubt. That's the only strength we have as human beings.
Yes.
Our mind, actually, our enemy. We will only
Yes.
doubt. We can't accept
Right.
anything. That's why you started with the expression that purity. You should listen to this story with purity of mind, that of a child, with innocence, with
Yes.
no preconceived notions, with an open mind.
Yes.
That's a very strong thing. So I'm just wondering, what is it we lack and how we can improve so that we too also will have at least some connect with Swami of this type. Antaryami Swami, yes, that's just, I started feeling very envious when you say these people close their eyes immediately, they are able to see Shirdi and all that. And I really don't know why it's not happening to people like this. In the lighter vein. Yeah.
Yes, all this, like, our intelligence and all, it's a kind of burden at one point of time. Probably we start identifying with it more or getting attached to it with more, it becomes a burden. As long as it is just considered as a tool, just like a body is a tool, mind is also a tool, I think it will be fine. If we maintain certain distance with those things, it is fine. Otherwise, if we start identifying with them, I think they become more burden and they become more obstacles on the way.
Yeah, you did say that the doctor did not want anything. Although both the forms would appear, he wouldn't ask anything for himself.
Exactly.
Such is the extent of the degree of acceptance that you don't want anything, you got everything. That seems to be a very strong message.
Yes. Both the kalparukshas are within home, but fortunately, he didn't ask for coffee powder. So, as Swami says.
Perhaps had he asked, that would be from a point of desire, and that will have attachment, enjoyment, entanglement, and then finally, But then one more aspect is, despite being very blessed souls, full of seva and bhakti bhavana, he goes through suffering, and you said two kalpavrikshas, each having a different approach. Swami said you have to bear the suffering so that you don't have a next birth. As against Shirdi Baba tapping him at 3 spots in 3 different places on his back to
Yeah.
relieve him of the pain. The spiritual significance, I'm still confused, but it's still mind-boggling to hear to such things.
Yeah. Both avatars just like their different mannerisms. So the way they grace devotees is also different. That's why even Shirdi Baba, you see, lot of youth have devotees for Shirdi Baba. This is the make, because he'll first address the concern. After that, he'll look after other things. That's his style. Maybe the grandfatherly, because they told that because he's like grandfather, he's more approachable and more close and all that. Maybe that avatar has that kind of glory. And Swami even said sometimes when all forms are mine. Even somebody asked Swami, why don't you go and just just appear in Shirdi and say that I and Shirdi Baba are the same? Why don't you? Swami said, no, every avatar should have its own glory. I should not go and do all that kind of things. No, my avatar has my glory, and Shirdi Baba has avatar, Rama has his own glory, Krishna has his own glory. So they have their own glories and their own ways to grace devotees. So Bhagawan would never interfere into all that. So Swami was very clear about it.
I have a honest question. Please forgive me if it is wrong. That Shirdi Baba and Sai Baba are same. that our Swami is a reincarnation, and things like that.
Yeah.
Now, in this narrative, we have both
Yes.
being two kalpavrikshas, as we expressed in your narrative,
Yeah.
which means they are two distinct, different, or is it because they happened in different yugas, but they have come for this person in. What is the message? I mean, how do I understand this?
When my way of understanding is also like because they yearned for just to bring Swami, he wants, because it's one and the same form, I feel.
Hmm.
It's just like he even brought other Devidevatas also, other even spiritual masters also. Even Swami taught a lesson here. The spiritual masters whom he used to bring, they're from different faiths and they were cordial to one another.
That
And
Guru Nanak and how he was eating his roti and
exactly, yeah.
plucking with his left hand and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So I think, sir, sometimes it's beyond our human comprehension. He says, no, I am Trigunatita. So for him, he's timeless.
mm,
We are bound by these three gunas, Rajas,
mm,
Tamas, and Sattva. So we
mm,
have time bound, and we have a different description of time. But I think
mm,
once we go beyond certain things, everything becomes timeless. I think in that way, all are there till now.
mm.
So maybe timelessness is my way. My way of my perspective is that probably he's telling timelessness.
Is it also a kind of endorsement that the Devis and Devatas are there, but we are not able to see because we don't have the spiritual eye?
Could be.
Mm, mm,
Yes, Swami many times told, no, many times even in his gopurams, whatever the forms we see in Parthi, they're very
mm.
much real. Swami clearly told.
Come again, sorry.
The forms, the angels and all we see, or the forms we see, or the gopuram and all.
Okay, okay. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he told they're very much real. They exist. So they are there, sir. So they are being assigned a duty, just like in this story also we heard that Swami was assigning some angels to different houses of Sai devotees to protect.
Because the entire narrative was more esoteric than the down to earth reality as we normally see in normal life. These are very esoteric experiences.
Yes, yes. Right from the scratch, even to the base thing, to the esoteric thing, everything is there in this story.
I have heard in bits and pieces from many devotees like this, but this is the first time I'm hearing of a rendition where this experience has been very substantive, elongated over a long period of time, and
Yes,
that too for the entire family.
yes.
And gradually, each one of them getting to see, I mean, they close their eyes and then they feel and then they see, it's amazing, amazing story.
And transforming also, even when they left the habit of non-veg and all that, that also happened. No, not maybe immediately, but gradually it happened that also.
And the compassionate God in this avatar, go out and eat and come was something you were saying.
Explicitly, he never asked, no, and they used to, they showed that gesture in other way.
Hmm.
And he never wanted trouble also. Even later also he stopped it because he never because it's become a burden. She was not able to cook and all that.
The stopping of the prasadam being cooked, the
Yes,
food.
yes, yes.
Amazing. Thank you. Sairam.
Any more thoughts? Can we close this? That's it now. We'll close with Asatoma. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमया ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय
Thank you so much, Sai Ram.
थैंक यू
Thank you so much, sir. Sai Ram.
थैंक यू